Alright, on to the big boy generation. Gen 5. Holy, there's a lot of Pokemon in Gen 5. Um, well, we might as well start at the top. This is probably, forewarning, this is probably my favorite generation. I didn't start with Gen 5, I started with Gen 3 and Gen 4 first, but Gen 5 is really when I think Pokemon peaked. Um, Specifically Black 2 and White 2. Black 1 and 2, Black 1 and Black 1 were, or White 1, Black 1, sorry. Can't speak. They were okay games. I wouldn't say they're better than Platinum or Emerald, but Black 2, White 2, man, those games were phenomenal. Truly, probably the best games in the franchise. But as you can see, there's a lot of pretty high tier Pokemon. Alright, let's start with A tier. Emboar. I think he's one of the most overhated starters in all of Pokemon. Um, this generation of starters is kind of middle of the road for me. I've got Samurott high because I put most of the water starters in A tier because they always can learn Surf. They're always useful HM slaves if nothing else. So I think even if you don't want to use one of the starters, the water's always a safe pick. But Embor has pretty good coverage. His move pool's kind of crappy by level up. Like, I think he uses freaking arm thrust as his main fighting move most of the game. You can be a physical or special attacker. I like that he learns head smash later. It's just a great fun coverage move for those pesky flying types that he struggles against. So very underrated, and I do kind of like his design. It's kind of fun. Man, Excadrill. Such a strong Pokemon. Steel Ground. Great typing. I mean, you get him at level, I think, 30, and he learns Earthquake at 33. I mean, that's really insane. He puts Sword Dance on him with Earthquake, Iron Head, and then Rock Slide, and he will sweep most of the game easily. So strong. Crocodile, if you want to use another ground type that isn't Excadrill, Crocodile is another amazing choice for sure. He hits like a truck, and I think Dark Ground is definitely a lot worse than Ground Steel, but that doesn't take anything away from this guy being super cool with two amazing abilities. Darmanitan, oh boy. Sheer Force of Life Orb off of his crazy high attack and speed. He is frail, but man, does he hit hard. There are This generation is one of the first generations to where you have a decent amount of fire type options to pick from, so uh, he's not as essential as like he would be in other generations where the fire types are more lacking. But this is probably my favorite ghost type, um, Cophagrigus. I just He's super bulky, pure ghost. Just in Gen 5 he wasn't that good when Will-O-Wisp was low, but Will-O-Wisp, Hex, just a great combo. Good coverage. You can run Psychic on this guy, I think. He's pretty solid. Ice. I like these ice types. Two of my favorites, Vanillix and Beartic, are both great options. I wish you could get them earlier in Black 2 White 2, but I think people overhate this Pokemon a lot. He's really strong. You can run him physical, you can run him special. Got great all around stats, and I think it's a cool looking Pokemon. Chandelier. Um, I don't know how I feel about Chandelier in terms of him compared to Darmanitan, who I prefer more. This guy's like slower, but hits just as hard, but with special attack, and this guy's fast physical attacker. His abilities are definitely better, but that doesn't make Chandelier any worse. This guy's like a nuclear bomb. He just unleashes flamethrowers and shadow balls like a train. Fire and Ghost is a cool type. I think they overuse it later generations, but At this point, he's one of the first, and if he got like Shadow Tag, I think he would have been one of the best Pokemon ever. Mienfoo. Boy, he's my favorite fighting type in general. I love this Pokemon a lot. Super fast, hits super hard, and I think that the journey of using its baby form, my I think Mienshao is this guy's name. Mienfoo's the pre-evolution, sorry. But you're stuck with him to level 50, the pre-evolution. Even his pre-evolution is decently strong. I mean, he's not bad by any means, so I think he's one of the better Pokemon they've made. Pure fighting. I wish he had a dual type like maybe Psychic would have been a cool type. You could even use this guy in special attack too, but high jump kick on this guy also kind of like these guys. Hits like a truck but pretty frail. Electros. See, oh, like I was saying before with the other pure electric types previously before it, the last few generations, wasn't a big fan of those, but this guy, he has some awesome coverage moves, and he has a levitate, so he has no weakness. So I think that really works for him. Put a salt vest on him, really, really bulky, and can put out pretty strong physical or special moves. Just a solid Pokemon in general. Just a little slow. Yeah, this guy's very similar. Pure Dragon, pretty slow, but has great coverage. I like his design. He's just, if you didn't get him so late in these games, he'd be a lot better. But I played through Sword and Shield where I got him around like level 30 after like the third gym. So I used him through the whole game and he was awesome there. Really, really fun. Haxorus. Oh boy. Other than Charizard and Rayquaza, those and the him, those three have the three best shinies in the game in my opinion, and maybe Palossand. I really like the black shinies. I think it looks sick. But obviously a very strong Pokemon. He's not he doesn't have pseudo legendary stats, but I think that makes him different. He's kind of like a Flygon in that sense. Beartic, just kind of like Vanillix, strong ice type. He's a recent S tier. I never really used him in Gen 5, but in Gen 9, in Scarlet and Violet, I used him my whole playthrough. I went and found a little baby Cubchoo before I even got to the first gym. He was level 38, so I couldn't really use him much, but by the time I got using him, oh boy, I just ran close combat, earthquake, icicle crash, and play rough on this guy. And man, he just hits hard, and with the slush rush ability, can be pretty fast too. He even works in the rain if you want to. You can run like liquidation on this guy, and he has swift swim, so. And I think he's cool looking. Very underrated Pokemon. Victini, this is the only mythical, well, one of the few mythicals that I've gotten. I think he's actually pretty cool. V Create is like one of the coolest moves in Pokemon. Super strong, super OP, but still a mythical at the end of the day, so maybe he doesn't deserve to be an S, because the rest of the mythicals I usually put in Fs, so I just have actually gotten this one, so I felt like I could rate him. Braviary, one of the coolest designed Pokemons. Normal flying is a great type combo. There's a ton of them, but either way, I quite enjoy it. Bisharp, another badass Pokemon. Steel Dark is pretty good. Just keep it away from fighting moves and you'll be chilling. Good coverage. Gen 9, this guy with an Eviolite is super bulky. It's just, he evolves really late, kind of like Manshao, which is kind of unfortunate, but still a good Pokemon. Hydreigon, I mean, he has tough competition this generation with tons of other Pokemon, but very cool Pokemon. Once again, great coverage moves. You could use to just about anything. Excuse me. Sleepy. Um, I would say that with the introduction of fairy type, it hurt him a little bit, but you know. Alright, I was just making sure it's still recording. This one's gonna be longer as there's so many Pokemon. Samurott, I mean, it's a cool looking Pokemon. I used it once. It was mildly useful. There's just almost always more water types to pick from, so I'm not the biggest fan of the water starters for that reason, but good Pokemon nonetheless. Stoutland, he's got all the elemental bites, which are good, and he's you get him early and he can tank some hits. He's a tough Pokemon. You get him with Intimidate. He can really be tanky when you need him to. And he's cool. I like dog Pokemon. Simipour, I think this guy is. Um, I enjoy using him. In black or white one, excuse me, because I picked or who did I pick as the starter? I think I picked Superior. I boxed him and I used him as the starter and just scalding with this guy. If you just keep clicking scald with this guy, pretty good Pokemon. You can teach him Surf. He's by far my favorite of the monkey trio. Ferrothorn, Grass Steel, great type combo. Doesn't have very many weaknesses. Super tanky. Nothing much to say. Its coverage is pretty bad in its introduction generations. Like, it doesn't get very good grass and steel moves early on, so it's kind of a pain to use, but other than that, good Pokeball. Kling Kling. Think an underrated Pokemon. Um, I wish it would have gotten like the electric type and maybe like a levitate. That would have been cool. But nonetheless, it's still a cool Pokemon. I uh, I like it with shift gear and it's just pretty defensive. Pure Steel is a good typing. Conkeldurr. Normally, I don't have trade evolutions very high, but I played through a ROM hack where trade evolutions turned into just level up at level 38, and I quite enjoyed this guy. He's slow, but he with Drain Punch, he just kind of claps things, so not bad. It's unfortunate Mianfu exists, so it kind of lowers him down a little bit. But Buffalant, I mean, he's clearly like the Tauros knockoff of this generation, but he's slow but more bulky than Tauros, essentially. And so I think that hurts him a little bit, but still a very cool Pokemon. Buffaloes are cool animals, so I like it. Scrafty, once again, there's one, two, three other dark types that are better than him, and I would say two other fighting types, so it's hard to justify picking him, but if you want, he's a great Pokemon. Can set up with bulk up and just sweep. He's got Moxie as an ability. That's a great ability. So, Jellicent Water Ghost is a pretty fun typing. I like it. Their stats could be better, but definitely not bad. Reuniclus, one of my favorite psychic types ever. I just like the way it's designed, and it is slow, but it's pretty bulky, so it makes up for it and hits like a truck. Archeops, I mean, rock flying is kind of cool. He can hit really hard with like flying gem acrobatics. He has great stats, just a horrible ability. But he's cool looking, so that's why he's an A. I really enjoy, boy, I'm blanking on his name, but he's just a cool looking Pokemon. You get him really late in the game, though. And I like that he could learn fly. I think it's kind of funny. Iron Fist is a cool is nice with this guy. He's got a lot of punching moves, so it makes sense. Ground Ghost is really good, so his just stats could be better. Volcarona, good stats, a fun way to get him in Black 2 and White 2. He just doesn't learn very many powerful moves, I guess, to balance out the fact that he has the best setup move in the game. And Bugfire's kind of a cool type. Durant, Hustle is a cool ability. It's high risk, high reward. Steel Bug, obviously, very good. So, B tier, Watchdog makes a good HM slave. Just a solid Route 1 normal type. You get him early, you can learn some decent status moves early in the game. Unpheasant, I think people overhate Unpheasant. I think it's a fine Route 1 normal flying. It's just his big brother over here is much cooler. As a pure electric type, I just think he's outclassed by Electros here. Zebstrika is cool. I like Zebras. It's just there happens to be a better version of him already in the same generation, so that's why he's in B tier. Um, Gigalith, pretty cool, but he's a trade evolution, so I just don't think he's as cool as him, so he's gets stuck in B. Um, I like how much XP that she gives. But Dino, sorry. I don't know why I was forgetting her name. I used one early game. Pretty good against the first, the Poison Gym Leader and the Bug Gym Leader. She just can hit really hard with the return that they give you early in the game. After that, she kind of falls off a little bit, but solid early game Pokemon. Crustle. Just recently did a playthrough of Pokemon X and Y, and I used Crustle on my team, and I don't know, Bug Rock is a cool type combo, but at the same time, like, you want to be using your rock Pokemon against flying and fire types usually, and instead of resisting it, it's neutral now, so it's kind of an unfortunate type combo, I think, but a cool Pokemon nonetheless. I put all the legendary Pokemon here. I think they're just kind of middle of the road legendaries. I don't think they're too amazing. Sigalith, cool design, good single form Pokemon. I I don't know why they made two psychic flying types in the same generation and just made one really crappy. Cough, cough. F tier, we'll see later. Swanna, I have him at B tier because he's like one of the best HM slaves in all of Pokemon. Get nerfed. It's flying water type, so you know, learns all the good HMs. C tier, Superior is cool looking. I just a pure grass type is not something I'm usually looking for. Maybe I'll have to try him again. It's just I don't find him very useful in this game. Simisear, kind of ugly. There's many better fire types as we can see to pick from, so you know, doesn't have much of a purpose. Wincharna, I think there's many other better psychic types that you can pick from. These guys can be good early game. They've got decent stats for single form Pokemon. I mean, if you get them early, they're solid, but I would much rather have Manchow later. Basculin, he's only in C because in Legends Arceus he gets an evolution, so I think that kind of raises him up a little bit in value. Excelgor, really fast, but other than that, he doesn't got much going for him. Pure bug, I'm pretty sure, so meh type. I love the gimmick in the lore of Zoroark. He just doesn't perform in practice as well as you'd like him to, though, unfortunately. Mandibuzz, there's plenty of other better flying types in the game. He's really specially defensive bulky, though. He has his use cases. He evolves really late, just like Braviary. That's the big downside to both of them. But you can get them on event Thursdays, I think, at Black 2 White 2, which is kind of neat. Behem. I wish this Pokemon had better stats. I really like its design and its the fact that you can only really get it in the one tower. But other than that, meh. Trade evolution, but cool Pokemon. Not much to say. There's already two better pure ice types in this generation. Up in the S tier. So he gets stuck in the C tier. He's still a cool Pokemon. It's just better options. Same thing with Heatmore. Once again, just like him, there's better fire types. Aloma Loa, however the heck you say its name. Super defensive Pokemon. Not very fun in a playthrough though. This guy belongs in A tier. I accidentally put him in D. But D tier. This guy's ugly, weak. Don't like the typing. Don't like the typing. Don't like how it looks. Yeah, he's pretty defensive, but there's many other water types I'd pick over it. Ugly. These guys are all pretty stupid. Same thing with the genies. Not a big fan. And they're annoying as heck and competitive. Not that that matters in this. It's just they're annoying. Meloetta should be an F. She's a mythical. I don't know how she got in D. I know people like Stunfisk just think he's kind of weak and bad. Not a big fan. But Galvantula's pretty cool. I think he's like a B or A tier Pokemon. He's fun for when you get him. And last, and certainly least, F tier. Simisage, I think this guy is. Man, he sucks. He sucks. Pure grass type. Holy cow, just let me look. Swoobat. Once again, there's a better flying psychic type already. Not the biggest fan. She does have good setup moves, but don't like Lilligant very much. Garbodor. Not the biggest of fans of this guy. I tried using him. Pure Poison is just not a very fun type to use. It's Poison's very defensive, and I don't find that very good in a playthrough. Amoonguss very defensive. For the same reason, this guy's annoying to fight against, and I just don't like Pikachu clones very much. I wish this guy Minchino was better. I don't know why I have him there instead of his evolution, but either way, I wish he was better. Holy, what is beeping? And then I have more mythicals, which I don't like, but yeah. Overall, it's a very solid generation. The fact that things like Zebstrika are in B tier and the legendaries are just show you how strong this generation is. This generation punches above its weight in terms of its Pokemon. So, on to Generation 6, which is going to be definitely a step down.